Finally, the damn thing was over. My favorite part of these things is when it's time to go home. It felt like I had been awake for nearly 2 days. The party was long, drawn out, and boring. However, it was work-related and important that I attended the event. It was one of those things that management was required to go through for the sake of the other employees. Slipping on my jacket, I locked the door behind me as I watched the final taillights of the cleanup crew leaving. I did not know the area. It was part of the city I had not been to. The company wanted to throw the event here despite having plenty of space back at the office. Whatever the reason was, who cared now? Thankfully, I don't have to go through one of these same shenanigans until next year. The cold December air is painful to my face. The warmth from the only shot of gin that I had during the party had completely left me, replaced by the breeze that began blowing. I began rubbing my arms and shivered as I turned around to look for my vehicle. It should not be too difficult to find, but most of the street lamps and the ones within the parking lot were out. Someone was not doing their job, were they? That's a bit dangerous. Now, where did I park my car? I can't remember. The parking lot was so full when I arrived, but that was several hours ago. It was still daylight. The winter days are so short, though. The strip mall was dark while all the other shops in the building had already shut down for the night. Most stores would at least leave dim lights on in order to ward off thieves from attempting to break in. Apparently these stores did not care, or they knew that they were not very desirable targets. I didn't know. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Not only that, but things look so much different in the day than they do in the dark. Not only was this place unfamiliar, but even more so now that it was black outside. Where's my car? It's too damn cold to be out here, standing here looking for it. A hot shower and a glass of bourbon is waiting for me back home. My phone vibrated in my pocket. As I pull the phone into view, I see the message on the top of my notification bar. No SIM card detected. I sigh. I really need to get myself a new phone and quit putting it off. This issue is beginning to really get out of hand. Isn't this the fourth time that's done this today? Or actually, since I've gotten here? It's late. I need to go home. Holding the power button down, I bring up the menu to tap the restart prompt as it shows its little carrier symbol then fades to black. I placed it back in my pocket as it vibrated once, knowing it was just now cutting back on. It should be back up and running by the time I get to the car. I took several steps before stopping in my tracks. A terrible feeling washed over me as chill bumps rose on my skin. It was not the frigid air that caused this either. I glanced around while remaining completely still. I had the worst feeling come over me that I was being watched. It was close to 11. The shops in the strip closed at 10, and the last person to leave before myself had already disappeared. I watched their taillights fade away. It is probably just where I'm in a place I don't know. I'm tired from being awake for so long, or perhaps a combination of the two. 4 shops over, I spotted a vehicle that looked like mine. I didn't remember parking that far away, but that has to be my car. No one else is here. Placing my hand in my pockets, I strode over to the vehicle as I fumbled around for my keys. As my index slid through the metal ring, I pulled them from my pocket as I arrived at the driver's side. But as I peered up, I noticed it wasn't my car. There was an orange sticker on the window showing that it would be towed tomorrow if no one came to pick it up. With a heavy sigh, I turned as my warm breath hit icy air, causing a small cloud to form in front of me before quickly dissipating. As the cloud began clearing, I noticed something dark in the midst of the cloud that seemed to be out of place. The awning was to my left, but it seemed that there was a lone support beam several paces behind me. Then I realized that it was not a support beam or even a street lamp pole without an operational bulb. Several yards away from me stood a shadow. A large figure. They appeared to be facing my way. The pit of my stomach suddenly felt heavy and yet so empty. The longer I stared at the unmoving figure, I began questioning if I was just seeing things again. But what if I'm not? Terror began filling my veins as my heart beat anxiously in my chest. I pretended as though I didn't see them. I had my back turned and only glanced around for a moment. That moment felt like several minutes, but time slows when you're afraid. I sighed audibly, creating another cloud of frozen breath as I threw my hands up to appear frustrated. My legs are already moving as I walk towards the other vehicle, the only other vehicle actually, in the parking lot with my keys in hand. The blades of the keys are sticking through in between my fingers and ready to stab. Everything in me is telling me to look back, to see how close the figure was, if the figure was even really there. But what if it was? What if it's right behind me? What if there was no one at all? What then? I won't feel safe. Not even then. I need to get out of here. Don't look back, I tell myself. Don't look back. It's taking everything in me not to look back. My senses are heightened. They're telling me to run. They're screaming for me to flee. But I did not. I felt like if I started running, they would too. As I approached the car that appeared to be mine, I prayed silently that it was truly my vehicle. I could not afford another stalled stray. The car key jumped between my index and my middle finger as I pushed it through the keyhole and felt my breath as I turned it. A small click came from within. Jerking the key from the door, I flung the door open and threw myself inside. The driver's door is shut. The doors are locked. I'm safe, I thought. That was close. Relief was replacing fear. I need to pull up the GPS on the phone and get home. My fingers are numb. They barely felt the screen as they typed the address in. I hit the search key. Loading, it found my location. It's ready and the destination is now en route. I switch the vehicle and drive and get going. I'm homeward bound. But I'm getting confused. The parking lot's full of barriers. Several little islands of grass were scattered throughout the lot without organization. Each island had a lamppost jutting from its little grassy domain. But most of these lamps were out. The headlights only lit so far ahead. It was difficult to tell if there was an exit or another barrier ahead. Turn after turn, it felt like the turns were never going to end. The parking lot was a damn maze. None of it was familiar from when I came in. Even though I'm following a GPS, it's only growing darker. The operating lights are becoming fewer and farther between. Slowing to a coast, I peer down to the phone in my lap. The little car on the screen with the roadway suddenly glitches out. A message flashes across the screen. No SIM card detected. Damn it, I whispered. I stopped the car due to the new hands-free law. If someone were around, I cannot chance them seeing the light of my phone from my hand. As it is restarting, I already tapped on the Maps app to pull it back up. It feels like it was taking forever to load. I'm sick of this shit. I really need to get a new phone. This is too much of a nuisance to put up with any longer. The app loaded, and I tapped the search bar and load the most recent destination set point. Alright, it's time to get home now. As I place the vehicle back in drive, the phone vibrates in my lap. The little car is sideways on the screen with no roadways in sight, and a large question mark on top as the message flashed across the screen again. No SIM card detected. I curse under my breath as I force the phone to restart. I don't even take care to close the app prior. I'm growing angry at this point. I did not want to come to this stupid event. I just want to go home so I can lie down in a hot bath with a glass of relaxation. This night needs to be over. I stopped. I noticed movement in the rearview mirror. I wanted it to be the breeze, rustling some of the wood sprouted from the few barriers. Their bare, dark, and twisted branches being disturbed by the invisible cold force that gracefully chills the night. But the limbs did not move. I see a hooded man. He's walking my way. Moving my eyes back to my phone, my heart sank to see that it had not yet restarted. Moving my eyes back to my phone, my heart sank to see it had not yet restarted. I placed it on the passenger seat and began driving again. I don't know where I'm going. I only know that I want out of this sight. As I drive, I make several loops around the barriers until I can no longer see him. The phone restarted. Oh, I'm okay. I take the phone and put the address back in once more. It tells me that I need to turn around. As I turn the car back around in the direction I came, the large shadow figure comes back into view. There are too many barriers. I have to pass him. I'll be fine. The doors are locked. I have to go this way to leave. I just need to keep going. I pass the hooded man and I don't look back. Keep my eyes ahead of me, focus on where I'm going. That is what is most important right now, getting out of here. I glance back to the phone. It says to pull through, and this is where I get onto the highway. But the highway's not there. I'm sitting with my headlights shining on a dead end. The parking lot must have been remodeled recently. The Maps app must have not updated since then. I looked on the app for an alternate route. There must be another way out. I was able to get into the parking lot, so there's a way to get out. I just have to find it. The dome light above came on as I flinched. There was a small click as the air shifted in the vehicle. The door is opening. Not the driver door, but the passenger side. Shit! I forgot. It does not automatically lock like the rest of them. It has to be locked manually. I forgot! As I take hold of the gear shift and jerk it back in the drive, I glance to my right. The hooded man is already halfway in the vehicle. Shit! I slam my foot on the gas pedal. The car spins out as it tries to get traction. I hear stray gravel pelting the metal of the interior fender. As the wheel is jerked to the side, I sling the car sideways. The door flies open, but he hangs on. The car came to a sudden halt as the door came back, hitting the hooded man in the back with an audible crack. And yet he still didn't let go. He began maneuvering through the door as I did another full swing. The car comes to a halt. The door shuts. He's in. The dome light cuts off. I never had a chance to look at his face. He's looking my way. I scream. My phone is already back in my hand as I jump out of the car. I head straight for the alleyway. The icy air feels like it's catching my lungs on fire. It's painful. Breathing heavily, I push forward as I enter the alleyway. The dial pad on my phone's up. I hit call on my fiance's number. Hello? There's somebody after me. You need to help, I cry. The phone vibrates in my hand as I hear the disheartening tone. The call dropped. No SIM card detected. I've not stopped running at this point. The phone's already restarting. It's taking too long. Why won't it hurry? I can hear his quickened footsteps behind me. I'm too afraid to scream. My lungs are tight. The oxygen is useless. It is nothing for me now. It's painful. The phone is restarting. He will try to call me back. I'll have to decline his call. I have to call 911. I have to. I'm in legit danger. The phone's back on. I look up. I've come to another dead end. There's nowhere to run. I turn. He's gained on me. He's coming straight at me. I dial 911.
911? What's your emergency?
Help me! I'm being chased by Click. No SIM card detected. No! I'm jerked off my feet as I fall against him. His hand is over my mouth. I open my mouth and jolt forward, digging my teeth into his palm. His salty sweat hits my tongue bitterly. My teeth protest in pain as he jerks his hand free of my grasp. His hand is coming back down on me. A sharp pain radiates through the side of my face as I hear a loud smack. I feel my body tilt. I'm disoriented. High-pitched squealing fills my ears. My eyes are open, but I can't see. The black, flickering spots shroud my vision, while the rest remain blurry. It's dark. I can't tell what anything is. There's movement within my blurred vision. Everything is beginning to come back. The blurred lines are coming together and sharpening. Something is holding my hand. I'm pulling every way I can manage. I can't get away. The grip loosens. I'm free. Hands close around my neck. I can't breathe. I can't scream. Everything's going dim. My face feels hot, strained. I can feel my veins trying to pump blood through these tightened hands, but nothing can get through. My feet leave the ground. My face is forced up as his fingers push against my jawline. Pulling against my weight, he pulls me to his face. And it was then that I realized I was going to die.
Why do you insist on running? You can't run forever.
Tears stream down my face as I mouth to him, "Please don't." Hey everyone, just want to give a big thanks if you've made it this far to the end. I just wanted to give a quick little insight to that story that I wrote. So we actually, I myself had a vehicle where the passenger side door would not lock. You had to do it manually, just like in the story. And I actually had a cell phone at one point during that same time where I did have a very severe issue with the SIM card misreading, and you'd have to restart it in order to get it to work again. So this had become like a really big stressor for me. And one night I actually had a nightmare about this, so I decided to turn it into a story. If you guys liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to, of course. It helps me continue to create more videos. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you, everyone.